Hello everyone. Welcome to Novel Story in English. I will present the story of a love story, forced marriage. Ratih Rianda is Rianda's wife. And Rianda is the younger brother of Hardy Zavano, the owner of the big hospital where Anggia works. Ratih and Rian are husband and wife, and they are Bilmar Rianda's parents. Bilmar Rianda is the only son of Rianda and Ratih, as well as the sole heir of the Rianda Group company. A giant company that has many branches not only in the country but also abroad. Bilmar had been educated from a young age in business, and he had just returned from America. And he decided not to go back there anymore because of something so painful there that he experienced, and he decided to stay in this country again. Ulhuk Anggia, who was eating, choked when he heard his name being called. Drink, son. Ratih gave him a drink and Anggia accepted it. Then he took a sip of the water that Ratih gave him. Let's get to know Anggia, said Ratih again. Bilmar, said Bilmar, holding out his hand to Anggia. Anggia, answered Anggia without replying to Bilmar's hand. He just lowered his head slightly. Are you Ziva's brother? Asked Bilmar. No sir, I am an obstetrician from Mr. Hardy's hospital, Anggia answered. Oh, Anggia already have a boyfriend? Asked Ratih, who went straight to the point. Mommy, what is it? Said Bilmar. Me is eating, said Rian, Ratih's husband, who suddenly spoke. I'm married, madam, Anggia answered. She stood up and lifted her dirty plate, and went to the kitchen. Everyone at the dinner table stared in disbelief that Anggia was married. Ratih was also a doctor because Rian wasn't allowed to work, so she just spent her husband's money at home and followed where her husband went. And he could tell from Anggia's body shape that she was clearly a girl, but she was confused by what Anggia said. Is that possible? Said Sinta. I'm not sure, said Ratih. Me, Bilmar, go back first. Yes, replied Sinta. Daffi eats a lot after eating. Let's play, said Ratih. Yes, Mama, they both answered at the same time. While Bilmar, who was already in the kitchen, began to approach Anggia, he was not sure that Anggia was married. Anggia, who knew Bilmar was following her, started walking out through the kitchen door as if she didn't know Bilmar was following her. Hey, said Bilmar to Anggia when Anggia sat in the gazebo in the back garden. Yes, sir, answered Anggia politely. Just call Bilmar, said Bilmar in a deep voice. Anggia didn't answer, he just smiled awkwardly because Bilmar also sat down beside Anggia. Are you really married? Asked Bilmar. Yes, sir, answered Anggia, lowering her head. Bilmar was silent. He looked at Anggia, who was looking down while playing with his fingers as if the woman was covering something, and he was getting more and more curious about Anggia. So far, Bilmar is known for his playboy attitude, but that's all because he doesn't have a woman who can make his heart and feel comfortable for one woman. And Bilmar felt challenged by the woman sitting next to him. He wanted to know exactly what she was like and Anggia's nature, which seemed difficult to approach, plus the tenderness when the woman spoke, making Bilmar sure to conquer Anggia's heart. How long? Asked Bilmar. 1 year, sir, answered Anggia. Long enough, said Bilmar. Yes, sir, answered Anggia. Bilmar smiled faintly. He felt that Anggia was hiding something. If other married women would be happy to tell others about their marriage, but not with Anggia. He looks different. His face is gloomy when he says he is married. Anggia, I was looking for you. Suddenly Ziva's voice was heard near the two of them, who were both lost in their own thoughts. Yes, ma'am, Anggia answered, and he got up from his seat and approached Ziva. Let's chat, said Ziva. Yes, young lady, answered Anggia. Zi, can I come with you, said Bilmar. I don't know, Bil, but seeing your face, I'm sick, said Ziva. CK. Bilmar chuckled, annoyed at Ziva's words. Ziva and Anggia started to enter the kitchen and took a lot of fruit from the refrigerator. They brought all the fruit back to the gazebo. Ziva really likes sitting outside, it's also one of Anggia's suggestions, and Ziva follows what Anggia says. Anggia, you take salt, I forgot, said Ziva asking Anggia for help. Yes, ma'am. Anggia got up from her seat and entered the kitchen at Ziva's orders. Zi, is it true that Anggia is married? Asked Bilmar after Anggia left. I don't know Bil either because he's a quiet and introverted person, Ziva answered while peeling the mangoes she was holding. Is that so? You don't know? Asked Bilmar again. Yesterday when we were at home, there was Silly too. Silly asked about Anggia, but Anggia just smiled and didn't respond to Silly's question. Ziva answered honestly because that was what happened. This madam. Anggia's words were cut off because her foot tripped over a rock. Buke. Anggia fell. Anggia screamed as she closed her eyes. Anggia was silent, still in a state of closing her eyes, but she felt something strange. Since his body didn't hurt in the slightest, he was confused because he should be lying face down on the ground and with lots of rocks. Anggia felt warm, and she was curious. Slowly and carefully, Anggia opened her eyes. He saw that his hands were holding two of someone's burly shoulders and the person's slender hips. Anggia, who was lower than that person, started to look up, and her eyes met Bilmar's handsome face, the person who quickly supported his body when he was about to fall. For a moment, Anggia and Bilmar were silent. The two looked at each other and were lost in their own thoughts. Bilmar's heart suddenly beat erratically as well as Anggia's, plus the position of the two of them was so close without any separation. Anggia could feel Bilmar's hard body. Likewise with Bilmar can feel Anggia's two mountains that are so attached to his chest. Sorry, sir, said Anggia after she realized who she had just hugged. Yes, answered Bilmar while neutralizing his heartbeat. Sorry, repeated Anggia. I'm going inside, Bilmar said goodbye to Anggia, and his feet started to walk in. I'm just like an idiot. Bilmar, you are a CEO, and you deal with a lot of great people. And why do I tremble more when I'm close to Anggia than when I face influential people out there? I don't tremble and feel awkward. But with that woman, I feel my body hot and cold. Bilmar kept walking for a while, arguing with himself. In the afternoon, Dr. Anggia wants to go home with the driver or with us? Ziva asked. Because Dr. Anggia where Ziva went, he also had to go. Ahem, let me take you, said Bilmar, who out of nowhere suddenly appeared between Sinta, Vano, Ziva, and Anggia. Vano walked up to Bilmar, and he put his arm around Bilmar's neck and spoke quietly. Keep on pipette, bro, said Vano. Ready, replied Bilmar pointing his thumb at Vano. Honey, let's go. Vano took Ziva's hand, and both of them got out and entered Vano's car. And Vano was driving at a moderate speed because he had to be careful. Ma, Bilmar will send Anggia first, said Bilmar goodbye to Sinta. Yes, be careful, said Sinta. Don't worry, sir, I don't want to bother you. I'll just take a taxi, said Anggia, refusing Bilmar gently. There is no rejection, said Sinta, pulling Anggia into Bilmar's luxury car. But madam, said Anggia. Come in, said Sinta, and Sinta began to close the door after Anggia entered. After Anggia entered, Bilmar also entered. Bilmar immediately drove his car at a moderate speed. Both were silent, and neither of them spoke. Anggia just stared at the road without speaking or even looking at Bilmar. Bilmar was also silent. Only he occasionally stole glances at the beautiful woman sitting beside him. Anggia began to realize something, and she knew the road they were taking was not the road to Ziva's house. Anggia was confused, and she wanted to ask, but she didn't because she still felt awkward dealing with Bilmar. However, because she was getting confused about their purpose, Anggia started to venture up to ask. "Master, this isn't the way to Master Vano's house, is it?" asked Anggia while looking to the side where there was Bilmar, who was focused on driving. Bilmar glanced at Anggia briefly, and after that, he looked back at the road. Bilmar smiled faintly when he heard Anggia ask, "Sir?" Anggia called Bilmar again because Bilmar did not answer his question at all. "Yes," answered Bilmar without glancing at Anggia. "I just get off here, sir. I can take a taxi," said Anggia. "Say it." Bilmar braked suddenly because of Anggia's words. "Ow," said Anggia, holding her head so she wouldn't hit it. "Come on down," said Bilmar with a straight face. "Yes, sir," Anggia answered as his hand tried to open the door. "Dare you to come down? I make sure you won't wear your proud white coat," said Bilmar. Anggia, who heard Bilmar's words, began to stop her urge to come down. She saw the face of Bilmar, who was sitting beside her. Bilmar, who knew Anggia was staring at him, also started to look at Anggia. The two stared at each other in silence. "Her eyes are so beautiful. What's wrong?" "Come on down," said Bilmar. "No, sir." Anggia answered because she was very afraid that Bilmar would destroy her hard-earned career. "Why?" asked Bilmar. "I'll come down if you want, but don't threaten my career," said Anggia. "Then we should be friends," said Bilmar. "Aren't we already friends?" asked Anggia. "Not yet, because I saw that you were silent and didn't want to talk to me," Bilmar replied. "What should I say, sir?" asked Anggia. "Ah well, the important thing is that you and I are friends, you understand," said Bilmar firmly. "Yes, sir," answered Anggia. Bilmar returned to driving and continued his journey. "Sir, I just want to go back to the apartment because I want to change my clothes," said Anggia. "Oh, you live in an apartment?" asked Bilmar. "Yes, sir," answered Anggia. Anggia started to say where the apartment she lived in was, but she didn't tell what floor her apartment was on. Even Bilmar had asked many times, but Anggia was silent. After a few minutes of driving, they both arrived, and Bilmar started to park his car. "Thank you, sir, for taking me," said Anggia. "Don't you want to take me for tea in your apartment?" asked Bilmar. "Sorry, sir, next time. After all, I'm already married, and I don't dare to invite you into the apartment," Anggia answered by lowering her head. "What proof do you have that you're married?" asked Bilmar. "What do you need, sir?" asked Anggia. "Yes," replied Bilmar. Anggia was silent, and she didn't know what to say because Brian's marriage book was also in Brian's hands, and his identity card was still an identity card when he wasn't married. And for the wedding photo, it didn't exist at all because, at that time, Brian didn't want a camera to dare to take their picture. "Why are you silent?" said Bilmar. "But I'm not lying, sir," said Anggia, trying to convince Bilmar. Bilmar raised an eyebrow. He was very confused by the girl who was still sitting beside him. The beautiful girl is really a mystery, very difficult to approach. Bilmar felt really challenged by the girl. He felt that Anggia was not the same girl as many girls he met out there. Anggia is a graceful woman. Very closed and hard to conquer. Yes. May I meet your husband? Asked Bilmar again. For what, sir? Anggia asked because she felt uncomfortable when someone asked about Brian because she didn't know what to answer, nor could she tell how bitter her household was. Why are you worried? Asked Bilmar. Excuse me, sir. Anggia said he started to open the door and intended to go down, but when he was about to step down, Bilmar stopped him by holding Anggia's wrist. Sir, said Anggia because Bilmar held his hand, and it prevented him from getting out of Bilmar's car. Remember, if you lie, you have to marry me, said Bilmar. Then he let go of Anggia's hand, which he was holding. Anggia was silent, and she didn't care because now she no longer thought about the man who would love her. And he had closed his heart because of the domestic pain he was going through, for how long he didn't even know. Definitely not for now. I'm sorry, sir, said Anggia. Anggia closed the car door without waiting for Bilmar to answer her words. She started walking and disappeared from Bilmar's sight. While Bilmar only looked at Anggia, who walked away from sight. I will have you. I make sure of it. I don't care what kind of past you have. What is certain is that I have already put my heart on you, and you managed to get into my heart, Bilmar muttered. Bilmar started the engine of his car and left the apartment. I don't know what he was thinking, but clearly, he will find out who Anggia is and find out the truth about Anggia's words.